Right. Adam Myerson. Feels like we just did this. We just did our NBX debriefing.
Oh, you mean like the one from last year?
Yeah.
We've been doing this for so long now. There's a little bit of deja vu every time we do it. It's crazy to think about. I took over the series in 2000, and at that point I'd been racing in it myself for a decade, and then took it over in 2000. That's 17 years, 18 years of running the series. It occurred to me the other day that I've been running the series for 18 years, and I was like, how did that happen? You know?
Seen Verge and Vittoria now, right?
Yeah, it was Verge when I took it over.
Was it anything before Verge, or was Verge the first?
It was the New England
series?
Point series, and it had various sponsors before it became the Verge series, and then, of course, we've been the Vittoria series for the past 2 years. But yeah, and now we're the Northeast series, and not just the New England series. But in one form or another, I've been racing in this series since 1990, and I've been running it since 2000. That's bananas.
All right, so make an assessment. How did this weekend go at the finale?
I thought it went great. I mean, we're always just so appreciative when Jeremy's here. It's still a privilege to have him sort of quote unquote come home. He's our prodigal son, and I know he must have had some heart problem at some point mid race today. He stopped for a second and collected himself, and I thought he was going to quit the race, and then he got going again.
I think he also double flatted.
Oh, well, maybe that was it. Yeah. I assumed it was a heart problem, but maybe he
I was hoping I thought heart thing, and then I was actually...
Well, it looked like he stopped for a second.
Okay.
There were tire issues.
I see.
Yeah, I think second flat caused the DNF. But I was happy because he seemed to be firing on all cylinders.
Exactly. And I think, obviously, we're so happy to have Curtis, focusing on school and having high-level international racing in his backyard so that he can be a true scholar athlete, and not just in the cliched sense, and then use this as a launching pad to go on to bigger things like so many people have before him. But there's so many other stories, like Ruby's increased success. She's really, I know Emma's not here this weekend, but regardless, Ruby's really stepped up in the second half of the season, and she's just plain old winning races and beating good riders. I think Lizzie Gonzalez, watching her dominate the threes as a 15-year-old and then start racing with the men and actually be competitive, she's just next in a long line of successful young women before her, like Emma and Ellen, who did the same thing. And even when I talked to her about it, I didn't limit it to just, the women who came for her, but the men too, like Tim and Jeremy. And so many people have come through from the 9 to 14-year-old race to the world championship level. And so to have everybody here this weekend battling out, I think sometimes people are a little bit running on fumes at the end of the season. It's hard to keep going, and then they show up at NBX and they're like, oh right, this race is awesome. I always have a good time here. It's one of everyone's favorite courses. It's a little different than what we normally do. It's very crossy. I had a friend who flew out from San Francisco to race this weekend just because he wants to improve his USA cycling points ahead of nationals, and he came all the way out here to this race to do it. So it's one of my favorite courses. I always have a good time.
Yeah, what do you like about this course? Because it tends to be pretty mountain bikey, right? Other than the huge beach run. Am I totally off of that?
Way wrong.
All right, correct.
There's roots, and the roots are slightly annoying, and it would be nice to have fatter tires so that you could deal with those roots. If you could pull the roots all up, if there weren't any roots, this would be like pure Belgian style racing. So because it's a beach race with the woods that go right up to the beach, it's that perfect soil for cyclocross where you get ruts, you get berms. I raced file treads both days all weekend, and you just go full gas in these corners with file treads because it's the tire and the casing that's giving you traction there. And so you're dug in the dirt, sliding and drifting and pedaling and turning, and that's just fun. And that feels like, it feels crossy to me. It feels crossy in a way that we don't get to do all the time. It's not a grass crit. Not that I don't like grass crits. I like grass crits. This feels like you need fitness and technique for it. It's a lot of fun. I'm a little sick, obviously. And
I think everyone's a little sick.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get some rest, man.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.